Hey guys, welcome to the video. I'm 1442 Stuart, and in today's video we're going to be doing things a little differently on the channel. Whereas you used to come in here for new build ideas, tips and tricks, this video is the start of a series in which I record, discuss and explain the leveling process throughout the whole of WoW. I've never played World of Warcraft before, well, with any real ability to play the game. The last time I played this game it was a long time ago, before I could even really grasp the idea of what an MMO was. Never mind how to actually play one. I've played many MMOs since that, being Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2. I've got thousands of hours invested in between them two franchises. I've played a bit of Black Desert Online. I've played a bit of, little bits of a lot of MMOs. I'm far from a complete newcomer to the game style of MMOs. I've dabbled with Final Fantasy 14 as well. But I thought it was about time and about appropriate for me to finally try World of Warcraft. So I thought to myself, why not record the vast majority of me playing WoW, or stream it like I have been on the channel. Then when you get to periods in the game, or weekly, bi-weekly, I can make a video explaining exactly what I've experienced, what the game has to offer with the amount of time investment I've put into it, and just to measure how good World of Warcraft actually is in the MMO scene. First things first, I'm going to be talking about the character creation inside World of Warcraft. As expected, it's got all the features you want. But before actual customization, World of Warcraft has the player make an instant, very important decision. To play as the Horde, or as Alliance. I'm a massive fan of this. The idea of warring factions, where people actually actively hunt out the other side, just to annoy or grief them. I really want to see or experience some of this in the game myself. Just to see what the actual, disparity between the two is, the Horde and the Alliance. Anyway, I picked Horde, and then was confronted with two more important choices, although not as important as the first one. I had to make these choices were the class that I wanted to play, and the race of the class that I wanted to play as. So, I went with an Orc Shaman. This combo I thought would be cool, as an Orc, which is usually so brutal and warring, to be connected to the earth and the elements like that would be quite an opposing theme for me to have. So I thought that'd be cool. Plus I'm a massive nerd. Finally, after these two choices were made, you get into the actual character creation, where you have the ability to change the gender of your character, its height, its hair, skin colour, its war paint, its scars, and many more little sliders and toggles you can mess with. It has all the doohickeys you'd expect from any MMO game, if not a little lackadaisical on the actual ability to adjust characters' really intricate details. That being said, I'd still consider this character creator and the way it works way above average. I can see once again, which will become the theme of this video, why this style of creator is considered the gold standard of MMOs. Overall, I'd say the character creator was good, not great. Like in Black Desert Online, it's way more in depth, you can adjust way more things. Even in Guild Wars 2, you've got a lot more options inside the character creation in regards of adjusting lengths of nose, eyes, more sliders, the usual stuff. But WoW is a bit more rudimental, but I'm not really too fussed about that. A lot of people will be thrown off by that, not me. No. Now that my character has been made and it exists, I spawn on the beginner island or area to get taught the basic fundamentals of playing an MMO. WSD to move, right click to follow movement, left click to free look, the usual deal when it comes to movement / combat in any MMO. WoW features tab targeting combat, which means if you tab you will target the closest enemy. Usually then you can press tab multiple times and cycle through enemies. Once again, another gold standard or staple of MMOs. The tutorial was informative, interesting, and even had its own little storyline happening in it, which continues onto the main game to give it a nice feeling of cohesion, and that you're not just separated from the game doing the tutorial, and until you've done this tutorial, none of your choices will make any effect. But as if it's an active part of the story, and that even now what you're doing matters, or that it will. I like this approach to tutorials and have seen it replicated many times before, but I have to say that WoW's first 10 to 15 leveling experience for me anyway, it was really quick, really streamlined, it wasn't boring, it was fun. Each level I found a new skill or got a new ability or something along those lines, and it made the game a bit more enjoyable. Right, after completing the tutorial, you are sent to Orgrimmar, the capital city of the Orc, and the coolest theme city in my opinion of any MMO I've seen yet. When it comes to the themology of cities, NPCs saying stuff as you walk by, players on dragons flying overhead, big old forges and sounds of war even from inside Orgrimmar, it's awesome to experience the in-game effort that has gone into making this game seem alive. The game will guide you via main quests to other little areas in the game where other NPCs and whatever else are nearby. That normally gives side quests that are related or run alongside the current quest line you're doing. You know, the usual MMO, take this one quest, go into the area. There's another 3 quests in that area which you can complete, but you have to pick them up yourself separately. It is more than worth your while to pick up all these side quests as you go. You'll find yourself completing most of them an accident, just by the fact you're completing the main quest, and they are so similar with each other. Kill 8 of these, pick up 6 of these, and they're normally dropped by the 8 things you killed. But if you don't pick up the quest, you can't get the reward. All the enemies or interactable items are littered across the route of the main quest usually, making the leveling seem more streamlined and easier for you to continually progress at a decent rate, which is what I did all the way to level 10. At which point the main quest takes you to unlock your very first dungeon. I was happy that this got introduced as early as it did, because as I said prior, I played Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 1 mainly. Guild Wars 1 being an instance-based game, so the idea of group content in an instance sounds right up my alley. Also in Guild Wars 2, I think the dungeons are locked till 30 or 35, I'm not sure, but way later than level 10. So I was happy to see access to this feature earlier on in the game. After doing your first dungeon, you are then met with new information dump, the Dungeon Finder. This nifty little trick is another gold standard, it seems. WoW has seemed to make another thing that everyone copies, but theirs is just a little bit better in this case. It works exactly how you'd expect it to work. It is just that little bit better and a little bit easier to understand. WoW dungeons are quite cool at bringing all skill levels together. Well, for the first chunk of leveling anyway. They do this because all allies can be any level in the instance, and each enemy will individually scale to the enemy it's fighting. This is pretty cool stuff, allowing me and my mate Dalton the ability to keep dungeoning and keep grinding together, even if one of us gets ahead in levels of the story. It doesn't matter, because you all get scaled to be pretty much equivalent. After the first dungeon, which I ran as a healer and Dalton as a tank, we just seemed to really enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure that's the only thing I did to level 15 in WoW, after unlocking dungeons, that is. Hey guys, just wanted to take a minute now that we're halfway through the video to say, if you like this content and you're looking forward to seeing more of it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more just like this. Anyway, let's carry on. With a whopping 19 hours game time at the moment of writing this script, I've managed to level myself to 40 in this time, bouncing between the story crests out in Azeroth, progressing my campaign with the Horde, making it so I'm able to fly an Orgrimmar but not anyone else. Can someone explain that to me? Because it's annoying. Then periodically queuing for a dungeon. The amount of XP gained in dungeons is ridiculous. Early on, I remember gaining 2 or 3 levels per dungeon, and I'm an addict for those talent points. I want them all. Unlock now. Also, doing dungeons allows you to get, from what I can tell, the best leveling gear you can get as you're advancing. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me and let me know in the comments, but I'm finding blue quite frequently, and because I'm the healer, these dungeon finders are basically, the queues just instantly happen, they pop straight away. And if me and Dalton are queued together, because he's a tank, I haven't had a queue last longer than 10 seconds with us both in it. As I'm leveling in WoW, I can see the gaining level of complexity. From the items to the talent points to the trinkets and so much more. And I know I'm barely scratching the surface as well, which just leaves me even more excited to play the game. Wondering what new thing I'm going to find next. I continued to level from 15 to 40 quite smoothly. Me and my buddy would run dungeons as our usual tank healer combo, getting us those instant queues, and honestly we could have just power leveled ourselves like this quite easily. But I didn't want to fall behind in the story and just end up being way too overpowered for any of the story content. So I've been staggering my dungeons with my quests to actually slow down the leveling experience to coincide with the progression I'm getting throughout the story. Although I've noticed the gear I'm getting from quests is normally a slight downgrade from the gear I get in the dungeons, which in my mind is a weird design, making it much more beneficial for XP and gear to just spam dungeons over and over and over again. Which myself, I'm not mad at. That's probably the only way I'd want to level if there was a game and there was a choice, but I do also know that some of the better gear and content is locked behind the story, so I'm trying to pace myself the best I can, so I don't inevitably end up with 50 story crests in a row, which I can just walk through, because I'm horrendously over-leveled for the enemies. Well, to be completely frank with you, my opinion about WoW after the first 20 hours of playing is simply put like this. I get it. I get why it's the most popular MMO. I get why the majority of games in the industry follow the framework this game uses. It just makes sense. It's engaging, the combat is rewarding, its leveling doesn't feel terrible. There is a lot to like so far about this game, and I'm excited to jump in even further and find out what's waiting for me at the latter ends of the game. being quite a competitive person in nature, I'm also looking forward to trying out some of the PvP and chasing the gladiator status as well. So all in all, I'd say if you're looking for a new MMO to try out with a friend or solo, I would have to recommend World of Warcraft, because it is just as good as people say. I know as of late there's been a hell of a lot of critique, maybe rightly so, in regards of their endgame systems, how microtransactions litter the shops, WoW tokens or botting ruining the gold economy. I'm aware of all these issues, but for once in a game it doesn't seem to bother me anywhere near as much. Why that is for now, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not heavily invested, I'm not in the endgame, these issues I haven't ran into yet. There's a lot of reasons why it doesn't bother me yet, but we'll see if they do. But I am looking forward to next logging in, and I'm looking forward to the next 20 hours I spend on this game. I've never raided in any MMO either. I've only ever done like high-end dungeons known as fractals on Guild Wars 2, or some other late-end Elder Scrolls Online content. Other than that, I mainly play solo and gear that way in MMOs, but I know the best way to get the best gear using the PvE content in this game anyway, is via raiding or really high-end mythics. More pulling towards end mythics right now, just because it's a type of content I can see myself being way more comfortable with. But I really want to try raiding. Maybe one day I'll even be a raid leader, telling people what to do, telling people they're wrong, and going full tyrant. Who knows? My final thoughts on this video are this. I'm really looking forward to maxing out chasing gear and certain shinies, which I deem to be cool, as in certain weapon or transmogs, or going after the mount and grinding for those daily or weekly. I'm looking forward to doing all these things. I really want to be able to delve into the passive skill tree some more also. I know it's new as of Dragonflight, and as usual with any game this size, with massive change comes massive opportunity to do absolutely ridiculous damage or healing or have infinite survivability. Regardless, I'm looking forward to it basically. And for this week, that's my thoughts on World of Warcraft. If you liked the video, be sure to check out others I have on the channel, or check out the streams of me actually playing WoW, which are found in the Stream VODs playlist. Discord, Twitter and Twitch linked in the description below. Make sure you give those a follow to keep updated with the content series and any other games I cover. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.